So this is the setup that I built, but before I built it, it looked like this. So I want to talk a little bit about what it was like to build it, some of the things I learned along the way, and kind of tell it like a short story. In the beginning, I didn't really want to build a setup. I just wanted a nice RGB light behind me while I was playing guitar on Instagram. But when I was searching for that lighting, I found Tech Tesseract, and that's when I saw Josh's setup for the first time. This setup was awesome. The lighting, the way that he blended it, and the little splash of yellow from the banana, it was all pretty inspiring. Once I saw it, I had caught the setup building bug, so I started looking up cool setups, and I found Tech Source, and I started watching Setup Wars. I was pretty much just trying to absorb as much content as I could to figure out what I could do to make my setup the best that it could be for me. But of course, at that time, I had not built anything yet, so I needed to start accumulating some skills. So I started with some basic woodworking. I watched like a couple tutorials and I made some basic shelves for my game collection, and it went pretty well. It was difficult, I made a lot of mistakes, but at the end of the day, I had shelves that I could be proud of. This is my game collection. I've loved video games for my whole life, and I've been collecting for a while now, quite a long time, and building this gave me confidence that I might be able to build a desk. Next, I decided to get into 3D modeling because I wanted to really be able to visualize my setup. I used a program called SketchUp, which is very simple, but you can do a lot with it. First, I measured the room and I made it as accurate as I possibly could because I wanted the desk to fit perfectly from wall to wall. And that's how I got it to do that. I only gave myself like 1/8 of an inch to work with on either end of the desk, so if the model of the room was off, then the desk wouldn't fit, which would have sucked. Overall, shelves and everything included, this is the first version of the design. You may notice that the shelves are different now and you may already know the reason why, so I'll be quick about this, but me and Alex accidentally knocked them off of the wall, and that was an opportunity for me to design better shelves, so that's why I have the shelves I have today. And it's also the reason why the RGB flows from the top to the bottom of the setup using mostly a single RGB strip. When it came to actually building the setup, there were only a couple skills that I really needed. One, I needed to use a circular saw, which started with me putting the blade on backwards, so yeah, that was fun. But eventually I got the hang of it and I started cutting some wood. Then after that, I needed to be able to screw it together, glue it together, which surprisingly came with some challenges, like just standing up the pieces in a way that they're actually going to line up when you don't have all of the correct clamps and like a perfectly flat surface is really challenging. But I pretty much fumbled my way through that, and when it was assembled, I would apply primer, paint, and polyurethane. And sometimes I made some really big mistakes. Like one of the highlights is probably when I dropped my CRT because the one I replaced it with was way heavier and I didn't realize, but it was going to require some steel bars to be attached to the desk just to support this thing. So this was a whole thing that came with a bunch of different challenges, and it took me like 2 months to figure it out and to finally pull it off. But somehow I got it to work and everything lines up just right, and every time something went wrong, it turned into a strength of the setup. Because now this thing is sturdy as hell, and now my shelves are way better because I knocked off those old ones, and all of the different mistakes turned into opportunities, so yeah, I guess that's a little lesson that I learned along the way. When it came to the monitor stand, the shelving, and everything above the shelving, it was pretty much the same process every time, same as the desk. Like I would cut the pieces, put them together, and then paint them. Not always in that order, but it was basically the same thing. But it was getting the RGB strips through everything that made it a little more complicated, because like you have a lot of RGB strip and you have to get it through the whole setup somehow and figure out a path where it's not going to run out early, and then also you're going to be able to cover all the extra cables and like exposed parts of the RGB strip that you don't want showing, which I used cable raceways for, and it's totally fine because they are flame retardant, so that means that, you know, they're not going to have an issue with heat buildup. So yeah, all of that was the 100-foot Govee strip light, which is actually 2 separate 50-foot strips that attach to one controller. So just be aware, you really only have control over one of those 50-foot strips. So what I mean is you can program whatever light pattern you want on that one strip, and then it's just going to automatically copy that to the other one too. So for me, one of the strips is entirely for the panel that goes above, and I like to program it like this, so when you flip the way that this looks down to the bottom half of the setup, it just turns out this way, which is lucky because I kind of like it. The one other set of lights that I have is the Govee string down lights, which light up the front of the portraits that I've hung up and all the stuff that's on the shelf. I knew that there was going to be light coming from behind everything, but I wanted to be able to see everything that I'm displaying too, so that's how I did that, and it kind of gives it a multi-layered effect, and it's cool because I can adjust the color of those lights or the strip lights, and I can combine them in different ways, and I can control it all on the same app from Govee on my phone. As for peripherals that are connected to the PC, I have my audio interface. It's the Zoom UAC8, which I mounted to the desk on the left. I wanted it to look like it was a part of the desk, so I feel like I achieved that pretty well. For speakers, I have the KRK Rocket 5s sitting on top of the monitor stand. I'd kind of would like to make speaker stands for these eventually, but right now I'm pretty happy with where they are. My microphone is the Shure MV7, not much to say about that. You can let me know how you think it sounds. I keep a USB hub with an SD card slot under the monitor stand too. Honestly, it was a huge hassle finding the right kind of hub with the right power supply, but this one works great. Have not had any issues yet there. I also keep cable clips under the monitor stand, so if I'm using my keyboard or mouse wirelessly, then the cables are out of the way and I can easily access them and plug them in to charge. And I keep another cable here too for charging my phone. Behind the PC, I keep my headphones hanging and I can charge them here too, so I just plug right into the back of the PC. It's pretty out of the way. And I have a cable hanging here too for PC VR gaming on the Quest 3. The keyboard I use is a Newfie Air 7.5 V2, which is a really nice low profile keyboard, and I made a video reviewing it and I recommend checking it out. For me, it had to be low profile to fit on the keyboard tray below. My other keyboard's too thick. That way I can still use the keyboard if I've got all my drawing stuff set up on top of the desk. The mouse is a SteelSeries Aerox 3 wireless mouse. I like it a lot. I picked it because I think it matches my PC case. The PC itself is a custom build, and it was my first time building a PC by myself, so people seem to enjoy the video that I made about doing that. Released a bunch of different videos, and then at the end I just put them all together into one thing. So yeah, if you want to check it out, you can see how stupid I am, and maybe that'll be inspiring for you, because even though I'm stupid, I still pulled it off and built a PC. Now that's a brief explanation of the setup. I know it's not a lot. I didn't go into a ton of detail, but a lot of you guys have been watching the channel since I started, and I felt like I owe it to you guys to show you the completed setup. The truth is, I don't know what I want to do on the channel anymore because I feel like I'm not doing what I originally felt like I wanted to do. I never envisioned myself doing tech videos. I just kind of like learned stuff as I was doing this, and then I was like, hey, since I learned all this stuff, I'll share that, because I had kind of committed to filming what I was going to create, and what I was creating happened to be the setup. Happens to involve a lot of tech stuff. Not saying I'm never going to do another tech video, like I liked doing those too. I do like doing the DIY stuff on the channel and sharing that. I think that's been my favorite thing. And when I look back, I kind of like how I can see that I've grown from when I started to now. But also, it's a really big time investment to do all of this. And I just want to see what else there is that I can do in my life, because I've been spending a lot of time on this and I think I've given it my best shot, and it might be time to take a little break. So yeah, I just appreciate you guys. So it sounds like just a line that you say, but I genuinely do. So thanks again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again. Take care.